Glad you're watching the Lunchtime News. Welcome back onto our interactive segment. This afternoon we are having on set Dr. Wario Sako, the NRT Trading Livestock Director, Northern Rangelands Trust Livestock Director, and this afternoon we are talking matters livestock, transforming livestock value chain. Welcome on set.
Thank you very much, Irene.
To kick us off, let's understand, what does NRT do?
Thank you very much. NRT is a community-owned organization that works within conservancies in northern Kenya landscape and also coastal part of Kenya. But I represent Northern Rangelands Trust Trading, which is an entrepreneuring branch for Northern Rangelands Trust, and we don't do any profit. We do community empowerment for trade using different programs. Yes.
There have been quite a number of issues revolving around livestock keeping. We are having the challenges. There is the issue of rural-urban migration, and this is affecting the culture that we have been having. What is your take in regards to that?
That's true. There are a number of challenges out there. Communities, the pastoralist communities, as much as we rely a lot on them in terms of producing livestock for us. There are challenges out there. A number of challenges. It could be diseases, it could be climate change, drought. There are a number of challenges, and also a number of other things that are affecting our cultures. Let's say people are going to school. It's true. The situation is different now.
How do we intend to handle the need for improved breeding back to the farmers?
Actually, that's what we are dealing with as even NRT trading. We do community empowerment, community training, and communities need to be sensitized about, the different breeds that could be, can conform, can be viable in the rangelands. It's through training empowerment that, we increase knowledge of what are the best breeds, what are the compliable breeds that are out here that can be used in those rangelands.
Despite all this in place, as even we're trying to increase the number of livestock among the farming communities, there is the issue of land. We have had human-wildlife conflicts, and it's not only affecting the wildlife, but also the domestic wildlife, animals that we keep at home. How are we intending to handle this for future purpose?
Actually, within conservancies are communities that are self-aware about, their management of our own natural resources, including our wildlife. And at NRT, that is what we try to sensitize communities about, but how to also coexist within the conservancies. Some of these challenges are addressed. The biggest challenge that our communities face are degradation of rangelands, and through that structured community engagement at the conservancy level, land restoration is one of the ideas that are focused, and land use management through planned grazing. So these are the efforts that are out there. There are a number of best practices that are within books, but they need to be really implemented. And different institutions could take interest, but NRT is already leading the pack.
Even as we touch on that, we have programs already, and there is the issue also on education. Not many people are educated about livestock keeping. Do we have also a program that is going to work on that?
Yes, at NRT Trading, we are running a program called Ufugaji Bora Mashinani, and that is about improved, livestock keeping, and the aim is to improve household food security. And that's the biggest challenge out there. Malnutrition is one of the things that affects our communities. So improved livestock includes purposeful planning for livestock, such that this economy drives, this livelihood drives, and it involves making farmers understand what products can be there as alternatives in terms, maybe in the times when the rangeland or the nature could not be giving us what we require. And mostly we will usually rely a lot on rains, but now what can be alternative? These are the things that we need to train our communities about, and that's what we are doing through Ufugaji Bora Mashinani, using different modules, and the modules cover about breed improvement, animal health improvement, market system and linkages, and also rangeland and leadership and governance.
Do you have any measures that you have put in place or any educative forums that involves climate change? Because you've talked about dryland areas.
One of the modules that we train at through Ufugaji Bora Mashinani program is rangeland management, but also at NRT level we have a robust department for Northern Kenya carbon project. You could have heard about it. So they do this, they do community empowerment, they train, we even produce pasture to sequestrate carbon, which is one of the contributors to global warming.
We do understand the northern parts of the country highly invest in livestock keeping. What are the measures that you have put in place to support the communities, especially in the northern parts of the country?
This is multi-stakeholder approach. We are actually trying to sensitize all stakeholders to take part in this. At our level, we do that, the way I told you, community empowerment through training and making understanding. But when we do that, they become resourceful members of the community, and they could even participate in development planning that affects livestock value chain within the landscape through the counties, through different, let's say, international NGOs and even NGOs, all the stakeholders within the landscape.
How are we involving the counties now that we understand we are operating under the devolved system of governance, and the county governments are trying hard to work with the communities right on the ground? What are the steps that you're doing to ensure you're working hand in hand with the counties? Remember, there is also the financial issue that comes on board.
I think I have the experience of having worked for county. I was the livestock chief officer for county government of Marsabit last 5 years. And we have been very instrumental, and we've left even the legacy of proper budget planning for livestock value chain. That has been the biggest challenge, but there is generally a goodwill. You could have heard about of Governor's Summit in Garissa, sometimes in 2018, 2019, I believe. So all this is geared towards resourcing this value chain, and the best practices are there. I think it's all about the matter of coordinating well with technical people, even at the ministry level, at the national level, so that all this coordinated way of doing things, there are best practices that are there and they need to be implemented. I think counties need to be aware about this, and we are working very well with the livestock departments. Even in our programs, they are involved. Even the manuals that we've developed, they have been done partly by county government officials. They are fully aware. All that's required is proper resourcing.
Even when we were talking about involving the county government, and this deals with the impact on climate change, there is the El Nino rains. The weather experts have warned us about the El Nino rains. Yes. How prepared are we? How are we involved in ensuring that we protect our livestock?
I think it's really interesting that we are really consuming the information from our department. It's really doing well. And I believe, like what I've seen in Isiolo, that's where our officers are. In Isiolo, you already see people are vaccinating against potential diseases that could come because of the expected rains. Talk of Rift Valley fever, I've seen people are doing this, but there is need to do more of that to be strategic, to really salvage losses. We lost a lot of livestock to drought, and I think we also salvaged some. But we need to learn our tactics through the ropes, and it can be improved. But currently for El Nino, the thing that I've realized is that there is a lot of awareness creation that has been done, and that is really superb.
Many farmers have complained about the shortage on feeds.
Yes.
Is NRT coming in handy in this?
Very much. Actually, for NRT and NRT trading, we had a program called Livestock to Market. And in that program, we strategically reserved pasture. And that pasture contributed a lot to livestock and livestock feeding over the last drought, the last 3-year drought that just ended a few months ago. So there is that, but now that has been shifted. It is moved to the communities. The communities are the ones that are now sensitized to do their own pasture farming, and some good number of pastoralists have taken up that. We have our beneficiaries, let's say in Laikipia County, that are doing fodder farming. And we have already sent them, even when you see our social media today, they have been registered as best practices in those landscapes.
We have government policies that govern all this, even the operations of NRT.
Yes.
Where would you rate the policies? Do they favor what you do? Do they favor the farmers who keep livestock in the country? Or do you think there are measures that need to be put to improve the policies in the country?
Yeah, the policies really favor, and I really appreciate that at the ministry level, even at the national government, all the stakeholders are recognized, and as NRT, we are one of the formidable stakeholders that are always recognized, and we contribute our views to the policies. Like the Ministry of Livestock, I think about 3 months ago, they were in Isiolo and they invited us, and we contributed the way that we feel issues should be articulated to empower our communities.
Even as we come to the close of this, the rainy season is here with us, and we are looking so much in protecting the livestock and also improving farming in the country. What are measures that we are having in place to ensure that this time round we make good use of the rains and will be of benefit to the farmers in the near future?
That's really very important. I think for us, we are part of the stakeholders. We are doing what we are doing at a scale, that is not as wide as what the counties and the government could do. I think the government should really take a lot of interest in tapping into the opportunities that comes with the rain, and they should not be scared about, only the adversities that is projected.
Thank you, Dr. Wario Sako. Dr. Wario Sako from NRT, talking to us about livestock matters. The country also is experiencing El Niño rains, and he is saying that the measures have been put in place to ensure that we combat effects of climate change.